Welcome to another MP4Nation.net player and review. Today we have a new MP4 player. It is a touchscreen player. In China, this will go under the Teclast brand, and it'll be the M26. So it'll be the Teclast M26 in China. However, abroad it could go by many different brands. We may take this as a nationwide player, so it might be in our own brand. We haven't really made up our minds, mainly because this is a sample piece. The units aren't even in mass production yet. And the firmware that came with this player is version 1.0, and it isn't very stable, so it's very hard for us to judge on just how good this player is, because the firmware is just too buggy for us to actually want to make an investment of branding this entire player. But it does have some good qualities, and we'll show you. It does have a 2.6-inch touchscreen. It is not a capacitive touchscreen, it is a resistive touchscreen. It's kind of innovative what the factory's done. As you can see, there's these little squares here, and to make it work like a capacitive touchscreen, basically these squares work so that when you move your fingers it reacts, unlike, it's basically making a resistive touchscreen act like a capacitive touchscreen. The factory is doing this because a capacitive touchscreen is so much more expensive, so this is a cost-cutting measure. There is a trade-off. It's not as smooth and it's not as sensitive as a capacitive touchscreen, as you'll see. Overall, the body is quite nice. It's quite slim. Has a nice finishing. Again, a good build. Does have TV out, and it uses a 3.5 millimeter audio jack as a TV out cable slot. It does have a 5-pin USB slot here. Your on, off, and hold buttons over here. This circle button actually doesn't do anything. It's just there to look pretty. And we'll turn it on. The user interface is exactly the same, or very similar, with some subtle differences to that of the S-Flow and the Teclast T50. As you can see, it looks exactly like the promo pictures that Teclast put up and some of us have seen all over the internet. It has your basic functions: your music, your video, your photo, ebook, radio, voice recorder. You can record from radio also, your file explorer, your settings, and a program, which I'll show you in a bit. I'll just go to the music. Again, it has the same layout. So it has all the good features of the T50 S-Flow. Just turn off this. There we go. Anyways, it does read ID3 tags, so it can sort music by artist, album, genre, and such. It does have audio resume, so you can resume from where you last left off on your music file. Especially useful if you have ebook, audio book. Sorry. Again, just go all music. And again, see, the touchscreen is just not as sensitive as that of the S-Flow, and that's the trade-off. And the trade-off being that this is a far cheaper player price-wise. Overall, quality-wise, no, it's not a cheap player. It's not at all. It's a very well-built player. It does use a wolfson audio chip, so the audio on this is as good as any mainstream player. Your Samsung, your iPod. Fantastic audio quality. It does support album art, so you can see. It does play MP3, WMA, FLAC, APE file formats, so it does play your lossless. You do have your music settings. One of the most benefits of this, it does use the Rockchip RK2706 chipset, so it does have built-in Microsoft Play FX, which I'm guessing many of you who might be viewing this might not know what it is. It's a equalizer made by Microsoft, but it's actually a very good equalizer, especially if you like bass. It improves audio significantly. And again, there you have it. And you can just shows ID3 tag information. There you go. One of the downsides again for this not being a capacitive touchscreen is that what forwarding a song is just not as sensitive, so it's just not as accurate. Probably a better way to put it. Go back, and it does have, see again there, it's just, I guess that's the firmware problem more than it is a touchscreen problem. The scrolling is just buggy on this, and you see the lagging. That's also because the audio is playing in the background, although you can't hear it, and it causes a bit of a lag. As for video playback, it plays RMVB, AVI, FLV file formats. Well, those are three major file formats. It does play some smaller other file formats too. Basically, AVI and RMVB, it can support higher res videos, which is good. It does have play resume also, so if you hit play continue. And on this one, it's set so that the TV out's automatically active, so that's why you're not seeing anything there. and just turn the TV out option like that. And I just wanted to show you that you can have the TV out disabled in the settings, so you don't always have to do that for your videos. The screen is actually really nice. The video quality anyway, good viewing angles. Videos play very well on this. Again, it's easy to fast forward on this with your fingers, but it's just not as accurate because the touchscreen isn't as sensitive. But one of the big benefits is the TV out. You can, something this small, something this compact, having near your TV or wherever, it's a very convenient, little gadget to have, especially considering it can support higher res videos. Very nice. And again, this little thing doesn't do anything. It just keeps blinking on and off whenever the touchscreen goes, so it's kind of a bit annoying after a while. So, anyways, yeah. And I have your photo, and unlike the S-Flow, which allowed for multi-touch, this doesn't. This is basically what the factory says is the biggest difference. Of course, they never highlight that the touchscreen is less sensitive either. But on this one, you can zoom in, you can pan around. Let's see, again, buggy firmware. The panning isn't that good because sometimes the touchscreen thinks you're changing to the next image. So, yeah, can't say it's the best, but then again, the firmware is still pretty awful on this. So, your ebook. The Teclast version does come with TTS. This version doesn't. What we're coming to assume is that the Teclast has, it's actually their own piece of software. So you're never going to see it unless you get a Teclast piece of, actual Teclast one for the TTS. The TTS is, text to speech, and you get the cool. Changing the pages. You can save, or jump, or load from where you want. Change the font size, background color. See, there's many you can change many of the options to your likings. See, this is where sometimes it gets a little. Gotta love technology. Anyways, radio, if it loads ever. There we go. Radio is exactly the same as that on the S-Flow, no different. You can change the region, so North America, China, Europe. Yes, close. Your voice recorder, I haven't really tried the voice recorder, so I can't really tell you how good it is, how far it will work from. Your file explorer is just definitely, you can just explore the entire contents of the player. Your settings, you can change a lot of the aspects on this. You can turn the TV out, on and off, how bright you want the screen, how long before you want the screen to shut off. And again, just the buggy firmware makes this kind of hard to use sometimes. And it does have 3 different type of desktops, so go back. A nice little white one. The picture I posted earlier of this. Your programs, it has a calendar function. Woo! It doesn't do anything. It just shows you the date. So, if you're ever walking around and you forget what day it is, you can always load this up and check. Yeah, it's just a bell and whistle as it is. It won't let you exit. All right. Again, a lot of the stuff you're seeing on this, it's just the firmware is just not that good, and coupled with the resistive touchscreen, it kind of makes the player look unresponsive and not. But then again, when I saw the first S-Flow way back in the day, it had the same problems, and after a couple of firmware updates, even before that came into mass production, it improved significantly. Now, the M26 might be hitting the Chinese market soon, it might not be. I don't think Teclast is going to release with this particular firmware because it's just not stable enough. Overall, it's a nice player. It's a small compact player, ideal for a pocket audio player. Really, it's nice if you want to watch videos. Then it works well, and then a TV out is another added bonus. But only time will tell how the firmware releases will improve this. But the touchscreen, it's just never going to be as sensitive as a capacitive or the S-Flow. But then again, the 8 GB will be under $100, so hey, it's a pretty good touchscreen, cheap touchscreen player, price-wise. Quality-wise, it's good. Anyway, this is another review from mp4nation.net. Head on over to our site to check out our players, or head on over to our forums to discuss this. Thank you.